Donald Trump has been in D.C. for 30 days. Remember, that's the deadline. That's the deadline for when he has to get his ass out, when he has to take his National Guard out, and when he has to stop federalizing the troops, and when he has to stop roving through the communities and claiming all of this safety. I want to highlight Democrats that are actually fighting. Here's a couple of them. And starting with Representative Melanie Stansbury. I love Representative Stansbury. She's one of the few people who also fights and says it very clear and plain.
On a day in which we are hearing a set of bills that have not so much as had a single public hearing. Let me just emphasize that. Not a single bill on this docket has had a public hearing as of yet. And I don't think that it is any mistake that this markup to vote these bills out of committee is happening on the last day that Donald Trump has ordered our nation's National Guard to occupy this city. There are no coincidences here, folks. So I have some questions for the chairman because we don't actually have witnesses here to testify about these bills. So my first question for you, Mr. Chairman, is where did these bills come from? Where did this package come from?
We've been talking about these bills for a year now, and you know that, Ms. Stansbury.
But why is this package being brought forward today?
This is a markup. That's when you vote on bills.
I understand the congressional procedure, but why is this committee marking up a set of bills today without a hearing? Did the president ask you to do this?
We're debating the bills as we speak. That's what a markup is.
Mr. Comer, did the president ask you to hold this?
I haven't talked to the president.
Was this markup called pursuant to the president's occupation of Washington, D.C.?
We've had this markup on the books for a long time.
And so there was no coordination.
You're participating in a markup.
There was no coordination with the White House on this markup.
I haven't talked to the White House, but I mean, there's
so
always
didn't consult with the
coordination.
White House on
We support
this bill?
the president's.
You didn't consult
DC
with
safe
the White
again.
House on the development of a bill that would create the actual entity that he said he wanted?
Do you guys see what's going on? As she pointed out and starts grilling James Comer about, which he's dodging the question on, which always gives you the nice highlight of it. This is on the last day. That's why she asked, why this day? And he flippantly acted like she doesn't know what a markup is and said, oh, I mean, what are you talking about? This is just a markup. Why on this day? Let me show you guys why on this specific day. These House Republicans are advancing these 14 bills to limit DC's autonomy during this expiring crime emergency that Donald Trump falsely called an emergency. So they're running out of time. They've run out of time. This was on Wednesday, running out of time to then continue their occupation of DC and to continue to claim that all this crime is happening. Because part of the pitch is to say that they've cleared the whole city of crime. It's all over. We've got 100% crime-free city. Well, shouldn't you get out now? But they don't want to get out. He wants to occupy this entire country, starting with major cities and definitely starting with Washington, D.C., where he plans to never leave. So here's some more details of what these markups, in assistance from these House Republicans, are looking to do. So all this is unfolding as as I just pointed out, this 30-day federal crime emergency formally expires. Coordination with federal law enforcement will continue. D.C. officials said this, but the Metropolitan Police Department will no longer take direct orders from the White House. They're losing their grip on the control that they have over DC, and they need to do something about it. So these 14 proposals collectively pose a sweeping rollback of local control and judicial reforms in DC. That's the plan. There's way too many of these things that they're no longer have control over, so they have to implement all these bills in order to formally, fully, and more permanently take it over. Here's Stansbury grilling him, more James Comer, and also the sponsor of these bills about what it is that they're doing.
There was no coordination with the White House on this
We support what the president's done. We've sat back and watched, and we've seen the crime rates go down significantly in Washington, D.C., and we want to make sure that crime stays down in Washington, D.C. If you don't like the bill, you can vote against it.
No, I'm asking you a question because we haven't heard this bill. Was this bill drafted in coordination with the White House? I'm asking the question.
It's not my bill.
Okay, does the sponsor want to answer that question?
I would say that we support President Trump, and bottom line.
It's just a simple question. Did you coordinate with the White House in the development of this bill?
People are dying in Washington, D.C.
Why can't
Crime
you
has
answer
been
the
cleaned
question?
up.
Mr. Chairman, we need order. We need order. Mr. Chairman.
It's just a question.
This
Did you
isn't a debate.
with
Mr. Chairman, we need order.
This actually is the debate. That
Ms.
is
Stansbury
exactly
is
what
out
a
of order.
markup is, my dear. This is a debate over the bill.
This should be common
Did you
sense. We're
guys
just trying to keep
coordinate-
the American people safe. They're dying in D.C.
I just asked you a
and
simple
we are looking
question.
at President Trump's plan has worked.
Washington, D.C.
So we are going to codify what
you.
President Trump did to keep the American people safe.
Okay,
I don't
thank
care
you.
if you're a
That answers
Democrat,
the
Republican,
question.
or Independent. We love you, but we've got to keep you safe.
He accidentally almost admitted it. Yes, we're going to codify everything that Donald Trump wants. And as she pointed out, there is no approach. There's no talking to other people about what it is that's needed or wanted in this city. This is them moving in pure lockstep to advance Donald Trump's agenda in controlling more things. He can't do it on his own. He has a fascist party, not just a fascist administration. Here's more of the dodging.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I'm going to ask the sponsor this question. Have you ever been inside of City Hall? Yes or no?
I have not.
Have you ever attended a city council meeting here in Washington, D.C.?
I have spoken with people all over
Have you
D.C.
ever
and
attended a
restaurants
city
and everything
council
else.
meeting here in Washington, D.C.?
And they thank us that they can walk down the street and walk their dog and ride on a subway without getting stabbed.
Did you consult with the
Without being
mayor
part of
or
a
the
drive-by.
council or any members of
And
law
without
enforcement
people coming
in
out
the
of Baltimore
development
and other
of this
places
bill?
because they know the laws are too lax here and it's not safe.
I'm asking the sponsor of this bill, did you consult with the mayor or the city council in the development of this bill?
I consulted with the people of Washington, D.C.
You did. Can you tell us some of who you consulted with? Can you tell us who you consulted with, sir?
Congress has jurisdiction over Washington, D.C., but
No,
I
I'm
talked
asking
with
you a very simple question. Who did you consult
And
with?
I
Did
just
you
told you.
consult with
I just answered you, but you're
Did you
not-
consult with the law enforcement of Washington, D.C.?
I talked
in
to
the
police
development of
officers
this
as
bill?
well, yes.
I'm asking the
I did.
gentleman
I spoke
who's...
with law enforcement. I spoke with restaurant owners. I spoke with people walking their dogs all around D.C.
Oh, you
and they
you talked
said,
to people
thank
walking
God,
their dogs. That's
thank
how
God
you
we can
developed
walk
the
down the
bill.
street without being stabbed or mugged to be part of a drive-by.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
believe a Democrat, Republican, Independent would not like this common sense legislation
Sir, do you live
that
in the
keeps people
Washington?
safe.
Do you live in the Washington, D.C.
Well, the
area?
gentlelady
We're all here.
I'm asking you
I've
a
been here
question.
9
Are
months.
you a resident of Washington, D.C.?
recognized her colleague from Louisiana.
Sir, I have my time here. I'm asking the sponsor of the bill. You have debate time on your own. There's plenty of time to debate. Do you live here in the city of
We
Washington,
are all
D.C.?
here in D.C. representing our districts across the country.
Do you guys notice how many times other Republicans dove in to try and help that guy when he was stuck in his lies? When she asked him, have you consulted with a city council? Have you consulted with the mayor? Have you consulted with people who run DC normally? That is before the occupation took place. He had no answers because he hadn't. You know who he spoke to? Just random people walking their streets and the dogs, the people that, Donald Trump keeps repeating these same talking points. You know, that propaganda that I'm supposed to keep saying. What I want is no more drive-bys and people not being able to go to the movies. What I want is people to not be able to get on the trains anymore. You know, all that stuff that they keep saying. They have no answers because they're puppets. They're following behind Donald Trump. They're all fascists. They're looking to continue to keep their power in their positions. And Donald Trump said, if you don't follow me, bro, I'm going to destroy you. They're afraid of him. Thomas Massie just said that the other day. That's why Thomas Massie's on his list, because he's defying him on one issue, the child sex trafficking issue. But this guy needed help from, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene jumped in. When he was stuck, you could hear a little lower voice say, Congress has jurisdiction over D.C.
I consulted with the people of Washington, D.C.
You did. Can you tell us some of who you consulted with?
John, Congress has jurisdiction over Washington, D.C.
Can you tell us who you consulted with, sir?
Congress has jurisdiction over Washington, D.C., but
No,
I
I'm
talked
asking.
And then he said, Congress has jurisdiction over D.C. when he couldn't say he spoke to the people who actually have jurisdiction over D.C. Let me show you what they're doing. So the supporters of this whole thing, who were led by this Oversight Committee chair, James Comer, the liar that we first started with, argue that this legislation is rooted in restoring public safety and ensuring peace and prosperity under Trump's policy. But DC officials, the officials of the city, including Mayor Muriel Bowser and Council Chairman Phil Mendelson, who that guy never spoke to, condemned the package as a direct assault on home rule and local democracy. Representative Glenn Ivey, speaking from the committee, denounced the measures as a power grab, urging Congress to return the $1.1 billion in local revenue that belongs to the city. Here's some of those ways that they're trying to implement this. Here's the list of these 14 things. I won't go through all of them. I just want to show you some of the more stark ones. The District of Columbia Home Rule Improvement Act imposes a 60-day congressional review of D.C. council legislation, limits emergency law extensions, adds line item veto authority, and tightens oversight on D.C. regulations and executive actions. It's limiting their power. Let me find one of the really crazy ones. Let's see. Number 6, HR, they don't have the number. They're repealing D.C. Justice Reform Acts. Aims to repeal the Incarceration Reduction Amendment Act of 2016 and the Second Chance Amendment Act of 2022, which currently they're going to restrict these things, allow some individuals convicted as juveniles to petition for early release. This is what Janine Pirro and them were talking about. They're going to go after younger people. They want to arrest and jail younger folks as adults. Here's the last one. Number 14, HR 5179, District of Columbia Attorney General Appointment Reform Act. Attorney General Appointment Reform Act. It replaces the elected DC Attorney General with a presidential appointee, immediately terminating the current office holder's term without requiring Senate confirmation. They just put people in place. More yes men, more people that are in the law to do whatever it is this guy wants. This is dictatorial overtaking of Washington, D.C. I read like 4 or 5 of those. There's 14 of them. And they're trying to do it quickly and quietly and not answer any questions about who they coordinated with and why they're actually doing it. But what they're calling it is safety measures for Washington, D.C. What is Donald Trump having direct responsibility and ability to kick out the current D.C. Attorney General and put in anybody he wants who will do what he says? Kind of like what he did with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, except they had to overcome those hurdles of getting Senate confirmation. In this case, they don't need that anymore. He does what the he wants to do. And after doing it, there's no arrest records, there's no prison records, there's no agency records of who arrested people, why, and when. They just do it. So maybe you guys saw this clip. I'm going to end with this. This is why Maxwell Frost, in that same hearing where Representative Stansbury kicked those guys' asses around, but they figured, well, nobody's going to stop us. We can lie in front of everyone and no one will care. Maxwell Frost, another young congressman, laid into Representative Clay Higgins from Louisiana, and they did not like this.
No, I just have a question for my colleague from the state of Louisiana, because I'm curious as to where your bill is. Louisiana is the state with the second highest rate of deaths in this nation. You are more likely to be shot standing on a random street in your state than you are in Washington, D.C. So my question is, where's your bill for the occupation of the state of Louisiana to keep your people safe, if you're at all sincere in this?
Gentlemen, yield for an answer.
I yield for an answer.
I support state rights. I'm a constitutionalist.
But not D.C.?
Stand by. As a constitutionalist, I support my state, my sovereign state's legislature, which is doing everything it can to push back upon the crime rate of the Democrat-controlled cities of New
Okay, so I'll take my time back. I'll take my time back.
If you remove
That's the rules.
crime stats
That's the
of New
rules.
Orleans,
I'll take my time back.
Louisiana,
I'll take my time back. So you only invoke the rules when other people are speaking, not when you're speaking. Okay.
That's your time.
I agree with you. Look, I'm for state sovereignty. So what do you think about California?
California is not where I live. You're asking about my state.
See, you only care, and I'll reclaim my time. I'll reclaim my time. I'll reclaim my time. I'll reclaim my time. I will reclaim my time. The gentleman will stop speaking. I will reclaim my time. You're more likely to be shot standing in a random street in your state in Louisiana than anywhere in Washington, D.C. And you're here because you're lapdogs to the President of the United States, who during the election last year, we said time and time again, I reclaim my time.
Down, Mr. Chairman.
All right, hold on.
My colleague just called me a lapdog for the President of the United States. I move for his words to be taken down.
A second.
We'll stand in recess for a second here. We will suspend to see about taking the words down.
Maybe you shouldn't be a lapdog to Donald Trump if you don't want to be proven to be a lapdog to Donald Trump. Because everything they're doing is to give him more power. It's where he can sit at his feet and be happily sitting, kissing his crusty toes. That's who these guys are.